All right, everybody. My name is Jason Sloan. I'm the business development specialist with Furtado Law Solutions. I'm primarily going to be your first point of contact, other than my assistant, Michelle. And we also have Kyle Larson here today.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kyle Larson. I'm the quote-unquote chief consultant at Furtado Law Solutions. And today, we're going to walk you guys through a kind of a pricing and costs and know your numbers types scenario, so you have an understanding of where Xactimate, well, where the insurers using Xactimate kind of give you the shaft. So with that, Jason, you got anything to add? I'm just going to jump right in if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead and get started. We have one attendee so far, Ben. And Ben, if you could message us on here, if you can give us on the chat or the question and answer, if you can let us know what you guys are paying for a walkable roof, and we'll go into it right now, per square for tear off and lay down, and then also what zip code you're working in. And if you're working in multiple jurisdictions, you can let us know that and we can pull that information up as well.
So what I pulled up here is, if you guys can see my Xactimate, to present them with evidence and enough documentation of contractors that are incurring additional costs, and show them where the cost that Xactimate publishes is not accurate, and that we should be looking to change that. We will do that for a contractor as well. If a contractor reaches out to us and uses our services, I will go in and build a custom price list that reflects your actual worker's wage and labor burden based on the information you give me. If you give me, you say, Kyle, I incur $90 a square in labor for off and on a laminate shingles, then I'll go and build an Xactimate that matches that. And we'll also talk about what a reasonable margin is for the contractor. So, if you tell me, Kyle, hey, I got $90 a square in expenses, and I've got, I need to make a 42% gross margin in order to be a sustainable company, keep my people employed, and make sure I'm going to be here next year as well. So I can reverse engineer those numbers that you give me into Xactimate so that it affects these things, and they match what your actual costs are. Then we'll present that to whatever the insurer is, along with the data that supports it, and they really don't have an argument other than we just won't switch off Xactimate pricing. It's not an easy argument. However, I think it's an important, as an industry, as contractors, we're up against a gigantic syndicate of insurers and Xactimate, and all the data that Xactimate has. Xactimate gathers the data from the surveys of contractors, but the majority of their data comes from who closes the files. And when you go up here and mark complete, that gets uploaded into Xactimate, and then they use that data from whatever that estimate said. It goes into their database, and that's how they affect the pricing in Xactimate. People would like to think that contractors can have some sort of a impact on that. That if every single one of us, every single time we marked complete on our files, that would somehow have an impact on the Xactimate pricing. Unfortunately, we're so outnumbered compared to what the insurers are going to hit mark complete, that it will have zero impact on the pricing. That's part of the problem. The Xactimate pricing becomes an endless loop of whatever Xactimate says it is, because they're publishing it for the insurers to use. The insurers are writing the estimates all the time based on the Xactimate published pricing. They're marking complete on the estimate. That gets uploaded into Xactimate, and then Xactimate takes that data and says, well, see, here's support for our pricing, because it's clearly accepted, because we've got 7 zillion complete files that support what we've wrote, which is, again, it's a closed loop is what it becomes. There's not really information from the outside that's true and accurate based on, like I said, the labor prices alone. I know areas in the country where labor is $100 and some dollars, $100 a square, and Xactimate has it at $65 a square. So depending on where you're at, it can be really bad. And there is no source for that sort of data to get presented to anybody. That there's not, we don't have an Xactimate for contractors that bases it on what contractors are telling the Xactimate. So part of my principle is if enough of us, if I can get enough data and run custom price lists for contractors all over the country, we can begin to have an impact from that perspective. Because if we have the support of, if I have 10,000 claims that I'm working with we've put the actual costs in, we can begin to at least get noticed, and Xactimate and insurers will have to accept that maybe there is some errors in what they're doing. So please reach out to us to help with the pricing. I think that's one of the biggest benefits to using Total Loss Solutions is we will build a custom price list that matches your actual cost and make sure that you're getting at least presented to the insurers what you need to again be a sustainable and profitable company.
All right, Kyle, I got a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
So a lot of contractors just pay, hey, X amount per square for their roofers for tear off and lay down, and other than anything specialty that they have to do, step flashing is part of it. But if a contractor has everything broken down, are we able to deal with that for them as far as custom price lists and everything goes, to compare stuff and see where they're at?
We can certainly review anything that a contractor has. However, one of the brilliant aspects of Xactimate, like it or not, is they've figured out, because they base all the pricing on every single line item is based on only about 30 different trades. There's not, let's see, I think we can actually look at, to go right here. This is the categories. I don't know exactly how many are here, and I don't know if I don't think every single one of these has labor involved. So, but there's something, I don't know how many, I don't even remember how many line items are in Xactimate. It's tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands. But they've narrowed it down because of the way they write the program, that for each one, they've said what is the labor category? What is it, this is the labor categories right here. So you got carpenter, whatever this is, carpenter FMC, I don't remember. I don't remember what each one of these are. Clean something, demo, which they apply to everything that has to do with demo, electric, equipment, so on and so forth. So these are hourly labor rates that are going to be associated with each particular thing. And because that's the way they build the software, they say that, okay, whatever you might be doing, if you're doing a laminate shingle roof, they've calculated the yield that it's going to, roofer can do 1 square in 0.933 hours. Because they've taken that aspect of the software and made it a factor of how many labor hours it takes to do it. To get back to your question, Jason, the same thing happens with step flashing then. So if I do RFG, STEP, and I go look at this as they're paying $7.11 a foot in Colorado, and that is a factor of, they're saying for that 1 foot of step flashing, you're going to pay your roofer $2 and some cents, $1.45 plus $1.84. So you're going to pay him, I'm not doing the math that quickly, but something like $2.20, $2.30 a linear foot. And that's broke out as they're saying that a roofer could do 16.95 feet in 1 hour at $91.20 an hour. So, so to answer that question, it doesn't really matter. We don't have to look at the step flashing part of stuff because if we get the labor the labor numbers right for the putting down the shingles, it will automatically populate on the step flashing, and then you should be getting paid well for step flashing as well. So does that answer the question?
Yeah. So once you fix the labor rate for the roofing portion,
But
it'll
not the
populate
entire program.
everything for
Yeah.
roofing.
Yes. Every single roofing, everything that falls under the RFG category that it ties itself to the trade labor group of RFG will automatically be updated to match what your actual costs are.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we went over this pretty good. Obviously, if anybody wants to get us to do an analysis for them, we can do that. It's fairly easy. We just need the zip code that you guys are working on, and also if you guys send us your info as far as what you're paying for a walkable roof, then we can enter all that info and get you guys.
Yeah, we can certainly let people know what they're missing. If they tell me
Yeah.
what their costs are, I can tell them, well, this is what you're missing out on, and
Yeah.
so we can take it from there. We, the custom prices itself is something that we provide for our clients, clearly.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
and we'll fight for that custom price list once we've got it in there. Once we're sending estimates on your behalf, that's what we're going to fight with the insurers to get paid.
Okay.